everybody? It's TO SportsTalk Podcast, Episode 6. James Price along with Evan Brown. How's it going, buddy?
Not bad, not bad. Episode 6, it's always good. It's always a good time. Tuesdays. And before we start on the Jays, actually, because we're starting with them first this week.
First time ever.
Yes, I want to give a quick shout-out to my grandmother. Lives in Moncton, New Brunswick. She's a huge Nathan MacKinnon fan. Maureen Murphy, if you're listening to this, which I know you are, shout out to you. Again, huge Nathan MacKinnon fan. He's from Cole Harbour, Nova Scotia. So kind of lives close to my grandmother, and she's a Colorado Avalanche fan. So I just want to kind of quickly get that out there. She's listening right now, so huge shout out to her. And I'm glad that you're listening.
There we go. Thank you so much for listening.
Yes.
And like you said, we're going to be starting with the Blue Jays for the first time.
Before we start out with the Blue Jays, I want to get into this for a sec.
Boy, here we go.
We recorded this whole hour and a little bit long podcast, and when we were answering the questions, and James' computer asked, "Oh, do you want to save it?" James pressed, "Oh, cancel," and right away he knew.
Yeah, right away I'm like, no way, this did not happen.
So this is the second take that we're doing this, and well, it's always fun. It's always fun. But anyways, I kind of want to just slap him right now. But anyways,
that's abuse.
Back to the whole Jays thing. Split the series against the Yankees. We're down 0-2. Won the first game against the White Sox. I mean, that's not saying much, but kind of is. Putting a statement out there. What's your mindset of this team this year? It has to be a good one. They were down 0-2 against the Yankees. They had fight. They tied up the series. More than you can ask for.
Well, that's something we didn't expect. We haven't seen. We didn't see it all last year. Fight.
Yep.
I mean, whenever they go down 2 or 3 runs, we all know that the Jays fell in, cried, and fell into a corner, and they just never came out of it. When they're down 2 or 3 runs, it takes one swing of the bat with a guy on base, and it's tie game. Yeah. But they just never showed any fight. And so far, through the first 3 wins of the year, they've showed fight, and it's very, very nice to see.
It has. What's your take on the rotation and Granderson's error in the first game?
See, like the way the first game went, we're all like, oh boy, here we go, because Granderson on the very first play makes the error, and then 2 batters later, Stanton hits a home run, and it's like, oh my goodness, here we go.
But they bounce back.
Well, it took a couple games, but they found themselves. And something that I said in the video last night was the chemistry, the camaraderie of this team looks a lot different than we saw last season.
It's crazy. And like you said, we almost has as many wins in 5 games than in April in general last year for the Blue Jays.
It's pretty sad. It's pretty sad.
So I'll say it right now. How about them Jays? It's crazy.
It's only 5 games in. You have 157 to go.
But we heard Yankee fans just giving it to us the first 2 games. Oh, you know what, Carlos, or whatever his name, Carlos Stanton is the first pitch, home run. Aaron Judge is looking amazing. Or Tyler Austin this, or whatever, right?
Yeah, no,
and they're not saying that now.
They're not saying anything.
No.
I love it, because you know what? Yankee fans, I got to give it to them, especially the ones that were on the channel. They were very respectful for the most part, and they were very, very good. But in general,
well, you can say that to any fan base.
Well, of course,
you can say that to our fan base.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
But a majority of them on the actual channel, guys.
You guys have been terrific.
Awesome.
If you guys are listening to the channel and Yankee fans, really do appreciate the feedback.
We have a total respect for you up here in Canada, up here in the Great White North of Toronto, Ontario, Canada. Yeah. But anyway, going back to the whole 4-game series with the Yankees, who would be your dark horse this year? I'm not talking about specifically about the whole Yankee series, but just in general. So far, who's your dark horse on the Blue Jays roster right now? James Price.
Jaime Garcia. Because coming into the spring, we're all like, he's our 5th guy probably, but you don't know what you're going to get from him. And he had a terrific spring, struck out a ton of guys in the spring. His ERA was nuts in the spring.
Oh, crazy.
This is his first game yesterday. 6 innings, 4 hits, 1 run. Obviously, the home run to Wellington Castillo. Strikes out 7. 7 guys. You know, it reminds me a lot of Mark Burley. This guy doesn't throw too hard. I mean, he throws fairly hard, but not.
Forgot about that guy. Yeah.
But not really hard. He's all location. And
Jaime Garcia would be your.
He looks great. I think he's my dark horse.
I would say, and going back to the whole JD thing, great to see him get a homer.
He needed it.
Oh, he needed it for sure. Are you concerned with him not starting on third base in Solarte?
No.
Taking a spot?
No.
there's.
I mean, what that does mean...
I'm a little concerned because obviously there's still an injury, like a nagging injury about him.
Well, it does look and sound like he is getting better. His shoulder is getting better, and that's great. And hopefully in the next few games he'll get it. I know after the series against the White Sox, the Jays have a day off. So
yeah, they played like five days in a row, 6.
No, they always play. Sometimes they go a week or 2 in a row.
160 games, though.
162 games, you got to get through, right? Yeah. But so that's why they started a little bit earlier this year. They usually start like April 4th or April 6th or something, but they started March 29th.
Yeah,
because they want a few more off days in there for the players and stuff, and I understand that.
Yeah. But I'm not saying that Solarte has he's looked good on third base.
He's looked terrific. I mean, one error, and that was a tough play.
And again, he's more of a defensive kind of...
Yeah. And he can... I mean, last year he had a career-high 18 home runs with San Diego, and, I mean, he's 30 years old, but for this team, that's pretty young.
We don't want to jump the gun, because...
It's 5 games in.
Yeah, because it's 5 games in, and Jays fans... Stay humble, be humble. It's 5 games. Yes,
one game at a time, people.
Yes, you came back against the Yankees, and props to us. We look good, but you can't let that go to your head. And with I feel like Marcus Stroman, sometimes he gets fired up, and that's always good.
He doesn't get fired up to the other team. He gets fired up for his play, and that's where other teams.
But sometimes that's when he struggles. I feel like, going on. It's tough, but he's looked good. He
had one bad inning against the Yankees, and that was really all that she wrote with that. But the Jays were able to come back as the bullpen shut the door, and that is something that not a lot of people have talked about. We'll get to Roberto Osuna in a little bit here, but we got to tamper expectations a little bit right now because I understand the Jays have played great, and if you watch my videos, you could clearly see that I'm very excited.
We all are. Take one game at a time.
But it's 5 games into the season.
We have 157 games left, so
it's a lot of games.
Basically, early October. No,
I don't know. September. I don't know if it goes into October. It might be late September.
Late September. Anyways, we pretty much have a half a year to.
And
enjoy it. Jays fans, enjoy it because we had all misery last season.
Gruesome stuff last
season. Like I said. This 5-game stretch, we have as many wins as all of April last season.
Not exactly, but it's close. It's close. They didn't win a game for like 7 or 8 games to start the year. Ridiculous. And I got to admit that's probably what I was feeling after the first 2 losses to the Yankees. Oh, here we go again.
Question for you: Jose Bautista is still a free agent, and he's not happy with the offers he's been given.
Well, no one's going to overextend.
I think he's not looking for
I think he's going to retire. I think it's going to happen.
And
I don't think he'll take a minor league deal.
No, not at all. And I don't think he deserves a minor league deal.
No, but he's
not. But I don't think
he's not worth the money he's asking for.
I don't know how much he's asking for. I don't know, but it's not looking good for him. But you know what? It would be a story to not let him go to another team. Like it would be a nice story him retiring as a Blue Jay and not him playing for any other team besides Pittsburgh. And I think there was one other team before that. Before we did get him.
I think Baltimore actually. Yeah, I think they had him in. I think they might have drafted him or something along those lines.
Something. But it would be.
And
nice.
He played in Tampa, I think, as well. He's been all around the American League East.
And then started with us. So it's sad in one sense, but he has to.
His time is gone. Look, when you barely hit over 200 strikeout,
and he obviously doesn't want to play that badly.
We all talk about Randall Grichuk's strikeout rate, and he had 130 strikeouts last year, which just sounds like a lot. Jose had over 200, set a Blue Jays record. Tells you his bat speed's slowing down.
Well, look at his age.
Well, exactly. That's where I'm saying he doesn't deserve any big money, but he has had one heck of a career, and I think that's where
his number is definitely going to be retired.
Well, I mean, he's in the top 3, top 2 when it comes to hitting stats for the Jays, and I mean,
100%.
Why not?
No, 100%. I completely agree. I think they should definitely retire his number.
Yeah,
because that bat flip was the second most iconic moment in Blue Jays history.
Oh, you're darn right.
Than Joe Carter's home run against
the walk-off.
Was it the Phillies or the Reds or whatever?
The Phillies, yeah.
The Phillies, yeah. So. Second most iconic moment. Off the field, he's a great guy, but yeah, go on with the.
We talked about in like every podcast so far about the Jays' rotation health
and how it needs to be, because you don't want to bring up anybody from Buffalo.
No, you don't want to have to do. I mean, I understand you're going to have to at some point. It's going to happen, but it's how big the injuries are. Do you lose Jay Happ for months? Do you lose Stroman for weeks on end? what happens, right? Or do you lose Sanchez to blister issues like last year? Oh, I don't think so. I don't think that'll happen this year. But what we've seen through the first start of the rotation, first off, they're all healthy.
Yeah.
And they weren't all that bad. All of them did fare pretty well. Aaron Sanchez was the only guy who really had a rough start. But again, it's his first start in the big leagues in almost a year.
He was all hurt last season. So
right.
There you
so,
go, right?
I mean,
and you don't want to pull anybody from the bullpen.
I cut him some slack. And the only guy that was ever going to steal a spot in the rotation was Joe Biagini, and he really didn't have a good spring. So
why would you throw him in there?
There's no need to.
There is if somebody gets hurt.
Of course. If there is a need to do so, I think he's the guy to go in first. But
and it's happens. People get hurt, but you don't want that because that's what the Jays' main downfall was. A crappy April for one thing.
Yep.
Injuries the second thing.
Yep.
And just the chemistry and just the fight was just not there. With this team going down 2-0 to one of the best teams in the AL, as in the New York Yankees.
Arguably one of the best teams in the league.
I get we were playing at home, which helps a little bit, but this team is fight, and that's what we didn't see last year.
Yeah, and
just a small
and I get Yankee
size,
fans
right?
loving their team, and I understand that they're a great team. They're a really good team. But I'm shocked they got rid of Joe Girardi. I am stunned.
You think of Joe Girardi like you think of, who is it, Joe Madden?
Joe Madden
on the Rays, now he's on the Cubs.
The old head coach for the Cincinnati Reds, Dusty Baker, now the coach of the Washington Nationals. He was the story of that, the Cincinnati Reds.
It's kind of like the commentator for the LA Dodgers.
Vince Scully.
Scully guy.
Yeah.
People like that, it's like...
You think of them with one team.
And just that name, Joe Girardi.
Joe Girardi, kind of
like a New York kind of...
he took a very young Yankees team just last year, and they got to the ALCS and pushed the Astros to the brink. Why do you let a guy go then?
Wait, the Yankees did?
Yes.
Oh, shit. Yeah,
that's why I'm saying. And then you bring in a guy like Aaron Boone. Yes, like Yankee fans are like, oh yes, well, it's so great to have Aaron Boone here. He hit one historic home run.
Yeah.
I mean,
I know.
He was like a trade deadline acquisition and get a big home run, and that was it.
Well,
and he screwed up in 2 of these games. You don't pitch to Josh Donaldson, who has 1 hit in 4 games, and you face Justin Smoke, who's hitting over 400 and already homered in the game.
But you have to understand why Yankee fans are excited for their team.
Oh no! I'm not tampering that. They are a great
this time
team.
Last year, they didn't really know what they had with Aaron Judge. Still new, still a rookie. You know what you have with Judge. You damn well know what you have with Stanton.
Oh yeah.
You know what you have with Sonny Gray.
And Sonny Gray, Severino. You know what you're going to get from there. Aroldis Chapman. Dellin Betances is useless back there.
Oh, yeah. Wait, was that the guy who? Was it game 3? No.
Yes, the guy
the 6'8" guy.
Yeah, the guy that Kevin Pillar stole 3 bases off of him. 3 bases.
Home. Yeah.
Second, third, and home, all in the same play.
It's funny because that guy's 6'8" and his number is 68. Maybe he probably planned it like that, but you never know. But anyways, like what we're trying to say here is, don't let these wins go to your head. Enjoy them, because last season was a complete atrocity.
Yeah.
But don't let them go to your head.
Take it one game at a time.
And we have to deal with the White Sox. Sure, they haven't been good in God knows how long.
They're looking a little bit better.
Because they're rebuilding.
They're getting there.
And this is what you kind of mentioned in the,
previous podcast. Yes, I get
about drafting. You don't know what you said. Justin Smoke was a first overall pick.
Yeah.
I had no idea. With the Mariners, I had no idea. There's 30 rounds with...
I think it might have been Texas, to be honest with you. I drafted him.
Texas? Okay, well...
I'm not sure exactly where he was drafted.
Look at Matt Bush. He was drafted by... Who was it?
I forget. I have no
San
idea.
Diego, I think.
Okay.
The Padres. Hasn't been anything special. An okay reliever, but torched
the first overall pick, you don't expect that.
Well, he had drug problems and all that. But anyways, it's a crapshoot when it comes to MLB drafting. It's not like any other leagues. It's not like hockey. It's not like basketball. It's not like football, where if you get the first overall pick, you pretty much know you're
going to get an all-star.
Maybe a 5% chance that they're going to be a bust. You're going to get an all-star.
Yeah.
You're going to get a superstar. With MLB, it's not like that. So that's why teams, and that's why I think the Jays aren't, totally sold on the whole rebuild thing.
And the thing I love about this Jays team is the depth of their team.
It's crazy.
Troy Tulowitzki, he's gone for at least 2 months.
Bone spurs.
Right. And who goes in there? Aledmus Diaz. He's been fine.
Yeah. That's what I kind of wanted.
He had a home run last night in the 9th inning, or in the bottom of the 8th inning. And his average is only 150 something, and his defense is a little shaky. But he's replacing Troy Tulowitzki. And the thing I love about Diaz and Randall Grichuk, they're arbitration eligible for at least 4 more years.
Because they were,
at least I don't know if it's 4 or 5.
They were in the minors for
they only played 2 or 3 years in the bigs.
And that's what I kind of wanted to get into. If the Jays...
Well, actually, before you get into that, I know what you're getting into right here with Vladdy Jr. and all them coming up later in the year and all that kind of stuff. The Jays, we've talked over the years about, or especially last year, about the prospects being in the lower half of the system. They look great, but they're in the lower half of the system.
Not anymore.
No,
this is a big transition year for the Blue Jays, and like you said, getting into that, they have
Lourdes Gurriel, the guy we signed to the.
Talking about.
Well, no, I mean, because he didn't have a great. He was injured last year with the Dunedin Blue Jays, and I think he was injured early in the spring as well, and he's getting the move to Double-A. Okay. Bo Bichette, Vladdy Jr. We know they're going up there. Kevin Biggio is a guy that's been very good. But he's always played with Vladdy and Bo, so he's getting overlooked. Now Biggio, obviously son of Craig Biggio, former, amazing MLB player. Kind of looks weird, Bichette, Guerrero, and Biggio, all guys are Hall of Famer type of players, or they've all at least played. Dante Bichette, obviously Vladimir Guerrero, and Craig Biggio, all guys that are, great ball players.
You just said, would you consider this a thing about Blue Jay fans overhyping their prospects?
No.
These three guys, other than Vladdy G and
Bo.
Because we all know what...
so the last guy was Max Pentecost, and he's a catcher, and he's had a lot of injuries.
Russell Martin, you think?
That's tough to say. There's Reese McGuire as well. I think he's in Double-A.
Usually catchers develop a little later.
They take a little bit because Max Pentecost was injured quite a bit.
Handle the actual pitching.
They're the captains of the teams, really. Yeah. And Pentecost, he was injured for a little while. I think he's 24 years old already, so he's obviously not the youngest guy out there. But he's getting the move to Double-A. That tells me right there that Reese McGuire, who was acquired actually... Funny thing, it's hilarious that I look back at this trade now and I'm laughing my rear end off. Going back a couple years ago, when the Jays acquired Francisco Liriano to make that playoff run in 2016, they got rid of Drew Hutchison. And they traded, they got Liriano, Harold Ramirez, who's an outfielder. I don't know if he's going to be starting in AAA or if he's still going to be in Double-A or not.
But Drew Hutchison was looking.
And, they got... oh my goodness, I completely forgot his name. The guy I was just thinking of.
Drew Hutchison started in the bullpen and you went down to rotation? Was that it?
He was in the rotation for the Blue Jays and he went to the bullpen. And I think he ended up being in AAA in Pittsburgh.
So he was in the rotation.
I remember the guy now, Reese McGuire, like I said, the catcher. And he was a good-looking prospect. He was one of the top 5 catching prospects. We got Liriano. Harold Ramirez was an outfielder who could possibly be something. Reese McGuire, a good-looking young catcher. Yeah, Drew Hutchison, who was garbage with the Jays.
Well, wasn't Drew Hutchison, when he wasn't in the bullpen, looked at as a...
he was looked at as a starter, but the one year he really pitched good at home, great at home, couldn't pitch on the road. It was awful. So and then the next year he started rough, and he just didn't have a good year, he got injured, and it was just a joke, so they traded him.
Yeah. So like I was getting into this thing, if the Jays are torching, well, not torching, but doing pretty well, for the last... maybe, I don't know, 5 or 10 games.
Yeah.
Would you bring up, I'm not saying all 5 of these prospects, Bo and Vladdy G, would you bring them up to get them confidence, experience? Because you and I both know next season they're going to be a J full-time, in my opinion.
Well, if Donaldson doesn't come back, I think Vladdy G is going to be there. I think that might be their transition feel.
But the question at hand.
I think it all depends on, 1, how are the Jays doing? Yeah. 2, are those guys healthy, and are they playing well? Okay. If they're ripping apart Double-A and they're healthy and the Jays are playing well, maybe.
Yeah.
But do you want to break? You want to, because then somebody's going to have to go off the roster to put one of these guys on the roster. Do you want to do that? There's that. There's that chemistry.
You could rest them for the actual postseason, though. That wouldn't be that wouldn't hurt. That wouldn't hurt.
Well, some guys have options, some don't.
Yeah.
And getting rid of some guys, it's a low risk. It's a big risk.
I just think that if the Jays are doing well, why not give these guys more of a shot? And if they look horrible, okay, you burn a year of their arbitration. Send them down. it's a good to look at because you know next season at least one of those 5 guys are going to be a full-time Jay.
Or
right?
there's another option, right? You have that,
Yep.
which is a possibility. But the other option is they rip apart AA, and if the Jays play well or bad, doesn't really matter.
Yep.
They go to AAA, they finish their season there. And I think that might be the possibility that could happen.
It's many, yeah.
And then you do that in AAA. Let's say they have a great time there and they rip it apart there.
Atkins and Shapiro have many options when it comes to these guys. Because when was the last time we said that we actually have a good prospect farm system?
God, was it Brett Laurie?
And look where he is right now.
Not even playing baseball. That's it.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
No,
it's nuts. I mean, the future has some good pieces. There's also a couple guys that are in the lower half of the system that look really good. Obviously, 2 first-round picks that we had this past year. Logan Warmouth, the shortstop, the infielder. He had a really good year last year with the Vancouver Canadians. He'll probably be playing with like Lansing or something in A-ball this year. And then you have Nate Pearson, who everyone is talking about because this guy's massive. He's like 6'7", and he could throw 100, and he's a starter, and he's great. He's terrific. He played with Warmouth in Vancouver.
Pitcher, right?
He'll probably be playing with Lansing as well. So, again...
Could be the second coming of Randy Johnson.
Well, first off, he's a righty. And Randy Johnson was a lefty.
But just the size factor.
But I don't know. They just got to keep growing.
Yeah, exactly.
Keep building the farm system. The Jays have a pretty good draft pick this year. Obviously, with last year's tough year.
Because I'm not sold on this team yet. It's been 5 games.
It's 5 games. It's hard to get a gist of them.
But Jays fans,
it's exciting.
Jays fans,
it's fun.
Stay humble, man, but celebrate.
It's fun to watch Blue Jays baseball right now. And we didn't say that much last year. The only time we said that is when we had 2 back-to-back or 2 walk-off grand slams from Steve Pearce in the same week. Yeah. That was about it. And the Jays really didn't have a good year last year at all. They've had a better start. They got to keep going.
Yeah, and they can't let these 3 wins, get. Yeah, but I don't think the players would let that happen like previous. Well, I wouldn't say previous years, but
look. Bottom line, they show fight. They look like they're having fun, and that's really all it takes. Show some fight, play some good baseball, and have a good time.
But don't have too much fun. But because you don't want that to go to your head.
Yeah.
But of course, you want to have a little fun. But
moving from the field, from the Rogers Center indoors, to the ice at the ACC down the street, the Leafs are 2 games away.
And they finally beat the scrappy Buffalo Sabres.
It's about darn time. Like, honestly.
How do you feel about that?
God, it's about time. Like, on my
And it's great. And it's great to see Thomas Buchanan. I thought it was his first point. It's his second point.
Is, yep.
Beautiful assist to Andreas Janssen. Second goal in 6 games. Or is it
And he had a
games?
2-point night. He had a goal and an assist.
Did he?
Andreas Janssen.
So he has 3 points in what, 8 games?
3 points, 9 games.
9 games.
And he's a -2.
As a rookie?
Yeah. I mean, he's looked great.
Yeah. I know Martin was in.
Thomas Buchanan's out an assist against Florida.
So second.
Yeah, second point of the
I don't know if Captain was injured. I don't think he played. I didn't see him at all.
He didn't play.
Okay. And then Comroff was what, rest?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, I mean, we have Matthews and Nylander both getting 3-point nights.
It's funny. When Matt Martin does play, because he's been sitting in the press box for pretty much the whole year, he's looked good. Because it's Matt Martin. He can only look good for certain points because you know what you're getting with him. But he looks like he's trying his heart out when he does play because he wants to impress.
Yep.
It's Matt Martin, but
I mean, he's been great out there.
He's been great. He's been good. It just sucks because Leva wasn't even playing.
And he tried to fight Ristolainen after the Johnston goal. That was funny.
It was. I thought it was Fenton.
I think it was Ristolainen.
Oh, it was Ristolainen.
Everyone on the Leafs hates that guy.
And he doesn't like the Leafs at all.
Good for him. I don't care. You're on Buffalo.
But the real topic that
and something we want to talk about real quick, before we get to that.
Interrupted me. Okay.
Yeah, of course. Curtis McElhinney.
He's looked good.
I mean, come on. Your backup goalie has you 11 wins.
And this is Babcock's plan, like he said, playing the last 2 games of the season, riding Freddie Anderson into the playoffs, and that's what you want.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, no, it is, and just going back to the whole Leaf thing, because we talk about the games. You talk about the game recaps all the time. What we want to discuss right now is the playoff picture when it comes to the Toronto.
Because it's all over the place. We thought Boston was going to be the team we're going to be facing in round 1.
We wanted to face Boston.
Well,
there it is. Boston right now has looked unbelievable. I just got an update right now. Charlie McAvoy will be returning tonight for the Bruins. Good news for them. They play. I watched a little bit of the Philly and Boston game. This was, I want to say, on the Saturday. They lost that game in overtime. They have a suffocating style of play, and
they're scary, man.
They're really scary. You can argue that they have the better first line. Okay, I agree with that. But we have the better depth forward. Okay, I think anybody will agree with that. But when it comes to their defense, get Brendan Carlos out. It's, Charlie McAvoy's coming back. They just signed Big Z for another year.
Yeah.
Torrey Krug. They picked up Nick Holden, a good depth guy. And they have Tuukka Rask.
Yeah.
Right?
They're a really strong team.
They're a scary team, and they're hot.
They've been hot for 3 months.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's tonight against...
Tomorrow.
It's tomorrow. This is probably one of the biggest games for all three teams. The Lightning, Boston, and the Leafs. Tomorrow, they face the Tampa Bay Lightning. Is it in Tampa?
It is.
It is in Tampa. Tampa Bay Lightning, 7:30 puck drop. I will be watching that game, and I think you will be too.
It's on Sportsnet 1. So people can watch
Well,
that.
I can watch it on my Game Center.
Oh, there you go.
But that's going to be a huge game. I don't know, because the thing is about Tampa is that it's going to be more of an offensive series if we do face them.
And they've been really struggling.
Yep. And
they're 4-6 in their last 10. They obviously Steven Stamkos is hurt. I don't know what the spiel is on him.
It's
how
weird.
long he's going to be back.
He was hurt before.
He came back for like one game or so.
He came back for like 1 or 2 games,
Yeah.
and then he got hurt again. So I don't know why they're rushing. Well, they're probably rushing
And I
because
think
they're struggling.
the big thing to worry about if I was a Lightning fan, Andrei Vasilevsky.
He hasn't looked good.
For the last, month or two, he really hasn't looked strong. And the only reason they're staying afloat is because of their defensive core.
Yeah, because they can't score.
Right.
And I don't know why they can't score with this Braden Point, Kucherov, Palat, Stamkos. It's scary. It's honestly scary. So, and they have JT. I completely forgot about they have JT Miller too in that trade.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah. So, and I would. So, James Price. Here's the question for you.
Yeah. Who would I rather face?
No, well, who would you rather face? A team that looks better on paper, but's ice cold going into the playoffs. Playoffs are a whole different story.
Yeah.
Or a team that doesn't look as good on paper, but's red hot.
I'd rather face the team that's ice cold. Because
playoffs are a whole different story. But
I get that, but you can't throw everything aside when it comes to the playoffs. You've been awful to end the season. Vasilevsky, like we said, has been awful for a few months.
They're playing him to the ground.
Well, he's played one less game than Freddie Anderson, and he was
Anderson,
used to playing 20 games last year. Freddie Anderson at least played like 40-something games with the Ducks or whatever.
Well, no, not even that. Last year he was actually known as a starter. Like he started for the Leafs pretty much a majority of the time.
I'm talking about the year before though, because when he was with Anaheim, he
right.
played.
But
like,
I'm saying he has 1 year under his belt that he's a full-on starter. Vasilevsky, they had Ben Bishop last year?
Ben Bishop, then he was hurt, and they traded him to LA, and then he takes the rest of the way. But
he's not.
Vasilevsky against the Leafs scares me though, because he always performs very, very well against the Leafs. But like we've said, playoffs are a different beast, so you never know.
And just knowing what you want to get into something.
Well, I just want to ask you, who would you rather face? Leafs or Well, who'd you rather the Leafs to play? Boston or Tampa?
As of right
now, today,
I'm still not sold on Boston.
I'm
still not sold on Boston. I understand. I don't know why. I think this was 2015. Tampa showed they made it to the Stanley Cup Finals, and they were a couple wins away against the Blackhawks. They still have that same core. Boston has pretty much none of the same core. Okay, they got Bergeron, Marchand, and Rask from the 2011
and Chara.
Yeah. All right. Yes and no, right? But I'm still Tampa and Washington are my dark horses going into the playoffs.
Well, yeah, because we'll get to Washington. We'll get to Washington in a little bit
I'm still not that sold on Boston. I know they're playing extremely well, and they're hot going into the playoffs, and that's dangerous. And they play that suffocating style of play.
Yep.
But for me, right now,
Tampa.
Boston.
Okay. I'd want to play Tampa.
Okay.
I mean, Stamkos isn't healthy, clearly, because he keeps getting injured the last couple. Like you said, he came back for 1 or 2 games and then gets injured again. So it looks like there's something not right with them.
Yeah, I think just for ratings in general. Ratings don't mean anything to the fans, but I think it'd just be a whip with Boston versus Toronto.
Or, but then you also look at it, Boston could possibly be playing the Philadelphia Flyers in the first round, and that would be good for ratings.
Yeah, and my dad remembers watching them in the 70s, and they would have 500 penalty minutes in the whole series together, in the whole playoff series. Now you're lucky to have 50.
Yeah,
right?
You might even have 50 in a whole series.
Yeah.
If you have a couple fights, and that's 10 minutes.
Marchand Simmons going at it.
Yeah, and Marchand's going to get suspended at some point.
Simmons probably will.
Yeah, Simmons will probably fight him afterwards.
But before I want to talk about Washington, because you know,
Well, we want to talk about that.
I want to talk about the New Jersey Devils.
Yeah.
They're not getting the respect they deserve. Taylor Hall right now is a Hart candidate because he is dragging his team into the playoffs single-handedly.
Same with him and Nathan McKinnon. Same type of deal.
Yes.
Except McKinnon and the Avs are hanging on for dear life to that wild card spot by 1 point.
And Florida's pretty much out of it.
New Jersey's 7 points out of Florida, yeah.
They can pass Philly. They have 93 points. Philly has 94 points. They can easily pass Philly. Right? It's crazy to think that last season, New Jersey, I mean, you could say the same about Colorado was last season, but New Jersey was last season. Yeah, last year.
I mean, that's why the New Jersey Devils remind me of the Leafs. They come close to dead last. They get the first overall pick. Yeah. And then the next year they're in the wild card spot. Good for New Jersey.
Players like Jesper. And the thing is about New Jersey, they always relied so heavily on Corey Schneider. And it's been Keith Kincaid has looked like a fringe star.
Is that their NHL 18 coming out?
Or NHL in general, yes, sir.
There you go.
But Keith Kincaid reminds me of a Scott. Well, we know how Scott Darling is on the Hurricanes, but Scott Darling on Chicago and Antti Raanta, Cam Talbot, who were career backups. Looks like they had a couple good seasons under their belt, and became a starting goalie.
Well, with New Jersey, I think it was like you were never worried about their defense or their goaltending. It was goal scoring. And having a guy like Taylor Hall, who was having a ridiculous year, like you said, Jesper Bratt, who's had a great year.
Will Butcher on the
Will Butcher has, I mean, he's looked amazing back there.
Yeah, I'm just going to go on the roster quickly. They were like the New Jersey Devils. They were like the Montreal Canadiens but just with slightly better defense.
Yeah.
Right? And they're always looked at such as a boring team, but not anymore.
They're playing some really good hockey.
Nico Hischier, underrated. Again, he won't win the Calder. I think that goes to Matthew Barzal.
Yeah.
But he's looked great for a first overall pick. You have Michael Grabner's looked great as a pickup for them in the trade deadline. Patrick Maroon as well. Just players just gelling, and their defense core scary. They have Sammy Vatanen. I completely forgot about that.
Yeah.
New Jersey Devil fans, if you're listening to this podcast, congrats. I mean, you haven't clinched yet, but what a hell of a season for them.
Hey, you know what? No one's talking about Nico Hischier, and he's a plus 10 with 51 points.
As a rookie. I don't even know if he's
played. They also picked up Patrick Maroon.
I just said that.
Okay, I didn't hear that. But yeah.
And they traded Vatanen had him heading straight up. I love that trade for both teams, really.
And a guy like Miles Wood has 17 goals.
Pavel Zacha, completely forgot about him. Cal Palmieri. They're gelling, and New Jersey doesn't deserve their respect.
And they're playing very well heading into the playoffs. Mm-hmm. That's it right there. We talked about that just now.
Because they've been mediocre for so long, barely making the playoff, or barely missing the playoffs, I should say. Getting a not so good draft pick. They haven't hit with many of their draft picks, but now it's starting to all gel. And
good for them.
And Taylor Hall for Adam Larson just looks so much better for them.
So talking about Taylor Hall.
Oh, I think I know what you're going. Okay, go on.
Who's your Hart Trophy winner?
Oh, okay. Well, if I'm going to go to...
If you got to go to Nathan McKinnon, or everyone's saying Connor McDavid because of the amount of points he has, but his team's almost... I mean, his team's not making the playoffs.
And if Connor McDavid wasn't with the Oilers, they would be dead last.
No question about it.
Connor McDavid has 103 points. Connor McDavid's a great player. Connor McDavid is a franchise player.
Yes.
You have to look at the big picture. Is he dragging his team into the playoffs single-handedly? No. Is Nathan McKinnon? Yes. He did.
For now.
Is Taylor Hall? Yes. Is Anze Kopitar? Yes. So you could see it like that. Kucherov, 97 points. Evgeny Malkin's always there. Claude Giroux, you can argue that he is.
Yeah, there's a lot of other pieces for Philly, but I get it.
But I feel like...
Would it be Nathan... But I think my finalists would be Nathan McKinnon or Taylor Hall.
But Hart Trophy, it's always by points. It's always by points.
And it's Nathan McKinnon.
No, points, and it's always going to be McDavid. Because they always go by points.
Yeah, and that shouldn't be the darn case. It shouldn't be the case. Because, somebody can score 150 points and his team misses the playoffs. Okay, what does that make you so good at?
Connor McDavid is a valuable player to any franchise, but it's the players around him as well. And he's not single-handedly bringing his team into the playoff spot.
No.
He's not.
No.
So it's going to have to be between McKinnon, Kopitar, and Hall. Dark horse would be Claude Giroux as well, but I feel like it's hard. It really depends. Out of those three teams, do end up making the playoffs, and I don't know when the NHL awards are.
I think it's at the end of the season, isn't it?
So it's how far It's how far New Jersey gets. It's how far Colorado and LA gets.
Yeah, and
with those players and how good they do in the because I know it's not based off playoff points,
right?
But if that team does end up making it, to
making a bigger run because of that one person, then I think it pretty much seals the deal. Now, talking about playoffs and making runs and all that kind of stuff, the Washington Capitals, like you mentioned earlier, clinched the Metropolitan Division.
And no one's talking about them as well.
And no one is talking about them.
Because the spotlight isn't on them.
And I think that, like you said, they're your dark horse because no one's talking about them.
No. And because they didn't make a big splash in free agency. They were close to getting McDonough, but I'm glad they didn't. Or getting Kevin Shattenkirk like a year before.
Because that Shattenkirk
the best they got is Michael Kempany, which is a good depth defenseman. They don't, and they were playing well when the trade deadline hit. And what?
They're playing better now. They clinched the Metropolitan Division.
They have the exact same record as the Leafs.
Yeah. 103 points, exact same record, wins, loss, overtime loss, all that stuff. It's crazy. But
and the emergence of Andrei Burakovsky too is
and Ovechkin being over a point a game and not just being a pure goal scorer.
50 goals. I know, but almost 50 goals.
Yeah, 46.
46 goals. Patrick Laine is not far behind him, but it's crazy.
Something I want to talk about the Leafs and before we wrap up the hockey segment here, William Nylander. No one's really talking about him too much. Because Austin Matthews and the way Mitch Marner's been playing over the last little while.
And the scoring does have to spread out, and he's getting, you were expecting one of the three-headed monster rookies to
tail off a little bit.
And I thought it was going to be Marner this year.
Well, I thought so too.
But it was Nylander. Well, to a certain
Mitch Marner's got 69 points this year. Already passed his career high. Austin Matthews, he's missed a lot of games, only played 60 games. Oh, he's got 60 points.
But William Nylander doesn't have... He scored 2 goals last night.
He has 19 goals. He's got 59 points, so we're saying he's not having a good season.
That's how greedy a Leaf fan we are right now.
That's how good of a team this is.
Yeah. I'm not concerned.
And he's a plus 21. That's what I like from Nylander.
I didn't know that.
He's a plus 21.
When you have all these good forwards, the Leafs can roll 3 lines, no doubt. The scoring has to spread out. In one player, as good as he is, he's not going to get the puck a lot. And that's just Nylander. They don't have him on the first power play.
Right.
They have him on the second with Matthews. That's so crazy.
That's the second power play.
I'm so shocked that Matthews isn't even on the first power play unit.
Yeah, it's nuts. But I mean, it worked last night. The tic-tac-toe play with Jake Gardiner. I mean, of course, it's Jake Gardiner up in the mix. But speaking of Jake Gardiner, and speaking about the defense core, we have 2 50-point defensemen.
Oh, they cracked it?
Jake Gardiner with his assist last night, I think, hit it. Yep, 50 points, 5 goals, 45 assists.
I know plus minus is a flawed stat, so to speak. What is he?
Plus 8.
So not the crazy plus 24 like last year.
But no, that was a joke. That was a joke last year. But Morgan Riley, he's only a -2, but he's got 51 points as well.
Crazy. Now, I'm open to doing this, and I don't know if you are. Jake Gardiner has 1 more year left on his contract. Mm-hmm. Jake Gardiner is, in my opinion, expandable. Because the emergence of Travis Dermott.
I think Travis Dermott is like Jake Gardiner, but not as stupid.
And they're grooming him into a second pairing left-handed defenseman.
Do you trade him in the offseason?
I think so. Or I don't know if in the offseason, but probably trade deadline.
Well, trade deadline, you'd be getting worse.
Jake Gardiner is arguably the best offensive defenseman we have, other than Morgan Riley.
Right.
You can argue that he's more dangerous than Morgan Riley.
Something about Jake Gardiner that I've actually really looked into a lot lately is the ability to keep the puck in at the blue line.
He can do that. It's just
it's nuts.
Like you said in the last podcast, it's breaking out the passes in his own end.
It's just a simple place. He can't do them. But keeping the puck, I remember back, Dallas, when Patrick Marleau scored the goal late. I don't know how many times he knocked down shots they were trying to fire it out of our zone, and he kept knocking. It was like 5 or 6 of them. Yeah. Kept the play alive. It was great.
It's mind blowing. But us Leaf fans know how he is. Yeah. Us Leaf fans know he's.
Mike Babcock saying that he looks great out there. I mean, I trust him, but from what I'm seeing,
I can't see him trading because he has 50 points. What?
Why would you trade him?
You're going to trade him and then...
first round pick or something?
And then you're going to put Travis Dermott in the spot where now he's expected to get that?
No, you don't do that to him.
No. And that's how you hurt development of players. So
I think you try and re-sign Jake. I mean, he's
going to want...
What is a 50 He's already got a lot.
He has 4.5.
Right, so how much more is he going to want?
At least $1 million more. At 50 points, he's going to worth at least $6 million. Hey, left shot, I get it.
If he wants to win here,
no, I know.
I mean, it's all.
And he spent his whole career here, but
yes. Well, not. I mean, he was obviously Anaheim.
He never played for Anaheim,
right? But he was drafted there. But
whole career,
he's played in the NHL his entire career with the
and
Leafs,
with the Marlies, yeah. But anyways, going back to the Leafs, 2 games here.
How big do you think winning the last 2 games is for a few reasons? Number one, you'd be a 50-win team, and number 2, you have won 3 straight heading into the playoffs. How big is that?
It's huge.
It's massive.
It's huge because
you have New Jersey and New Jersey on Thursday. We'll be talking them all up in the podcast so far, but I mean, well-deserved. And you play them Thursday in New Jersey. And then Saturday, Montreal at home to close off the season.
And I don't care if Montreal's, 5th last. I don't care. It's going to be
Toronto-Montreal.
It's going to be, it's going to be Toronto-Montreal, and you can't look at the standings. Pretend Montreal's 2 points back of us. Pretend Montreal's right there with us.
That's the way they're going to play.
Yeah. And that's where we beat them. I don't think we lost them at all this season yet.
No, we haven't. And I think more...
Freddie, the team, you got to take care of business. And hopefully the Leafs can do that, and I think the Leafs will. And having Freddie with 2 more wins going into the playoffs is huge.
Oh, for sure. I mean, like, having this whole team, having won 3 straight heading into the playoffs, having been a 50-win team, having
50. So if we win these next 2 games, it's 50 wins.
50. We're at 48 right now.
Take that as motivation. Take that as a motivation for your group. We have never, as a franchise, ever had 50 wins.
No.
That's sad.
Yeah, it's very sad.
Yeah.
But this is the new regime. This is what this team is now.
And I love it. And I love what Shanahan, Babcock...
the Shanahan plan.
The Shanahan plan. And we're sticking to it.
And I love it. It's
too.
great.
I love it too.
So, from the ice, with only a couple games left there, it's crazy.
And to the hardwood.
To the hardwood with 6 games left. And the Toronto Raptors, as they are in action tonight against the Cleveland Cavaliers in Cleveland. One word, I gotta say, to describe this whole night tonight. Defense! 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 That's it. Yeah. I mean, that's all you got to do tonight.
No.
We saw against the last time you faced Cleveland.
They were up.
The Raptors were up like 15 or something against the Cleveland last time.
Oh, Cleveland, yeah.
And then you imploded. The offense struggled a little bit. Their offense kept going because your defense stunk.
Yeah.
All you got to do is play some defense tonight. You're going to win. You know why? Because their defense is nothing special at all. You know the looks you're going to get. You knock down your shots. Hey, you're going to win.
You're going to do.
You got to find a way to play defense. Look, I'm not saying you're going to shut down LeBron because you can't. It is physically impossible to shut down LeBron James. You have to contain him.
You have to contain him and the people around him, too.
Kevin Love especially. That guy, you cannot let get hot. He makes his first 2 shots. No. Oh, boy, watch out.
You can. And going back to the Celtic game, OG Anunoby did not look good. He had a brutal turnover, didn't shoot the ball that well.
He shot 3 of 4.
CJ Miles didn't play well at all.
That guy had, like I said,
CJ kilometers, CJ millimeters.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I said in the first podcast. You know, that's what happened there. But he had 3 points, 5 rebounds, and 0 of 6 shooting, 0 of 5 from 3, 4 turnovers, and 5 fouls. He was awful. He's got to be better for this team to go anywhere
against someone who has a lot of depth in the Celtics.
Well, Boston and Cleveland.
Boston and Cleveland. These 2 games are probably the most, because if the Raptors do end up losing this, 2-game lead, 2.5-game lead?
2-game lead now.
I'm going to be mad. I am going to be
mad. You had a 5.5-game lead with like 10 games left. That should be mathematical. Yeah. But it's not because of the stretch you're in right now.
No, it's not.
And I think tonight's game and tomorrow, because they play it back-to-back against Boston at the Air Canada Center tomorrow night, those 2 games are huge. That'll tell you right. Look, because Boston plays Milwaukee tonight, so both teams run it back-to-back, so there's no excuse.
And for this team to beat Boston and to beat Cleveland, Cleveland first and then Boston, like you said, defense and the bench has to step up. You know what you're getting with Kyle and DeMar. You know. Even with JV.
Even when DeMar and Kyle's shots aren't falling, they're moving the ball. They're getting a lot of assists.
It's offensive, defensive rebounds, less turnovers, even more steals.
Yeah.
And just
active defense, smart double teams,
and this is
grab the darn rebounds, close the possession.
And I think Casey needs to drill into their head, because they're probably practicing as we speak right now. To offensive boards, defensive,
clean that up,
clean it up. Yep, They're telling JV that. They're telling Serge
Get
that.
all over the glass. And Serge Ibaka was really good in the last game.
he was.
He was 3 of 3 from 3.
Maybe he heard me in our last podcast.
Yeah, well, I think we
tore him apart.
Because he needed to play better.
Oh, yeah.
He needed to play better for this team to go anywhere, really. Have him to play. If you can have him play at another level in the playoffs, hey, the sky's the limit. Having that third guy that can shoot and can play well.
Oh, it's crazy. Yeah, no, it's crazy.
The third guy, I didn't even mention JV. There's probably, you have that guy there as well, who's always a beast in the playoffs. Yeah. So
you saw last year, you saw the year before that.
Well, obviously went down with injury against Cleveland in the conference finals when we got there.
Swept. I just don't want the Raptors to fizzle out because the Raptors do, have a history of sitting back, relaxing. Oh, we got the lead. Not too much anymore. If we lose these next 2 games against Boston and...
because if Boston wins tonight against Milwaukee... Look, it'll be wonders, and it'll be a great night if the Jays win and Boston loses to Milwaukee tonight, and the Jays beat Cleveland.
Right.
That'll be the best thing in the world because... but first off, we beat Cleveland, and that would shut up a lot of people.
Lots of people.
And Boston losing would give us another game in hand. Or
Shutting up a lot of people, as in Skip Bayless.
Oh, God, don't even get me going on that guy. That guy's
Stephen A. Smith. It's a statement game.
You're facing LeBron and the Cavs.
It's a statement game.
In Cleveland.
Especially for the Canadian media, for the American media especially, they can't say anything if we end up this game and the playoffs. They can't.
Yeah.
If we dethrone the King, it's going to be tough because it is the King. He's pretty much unstoppable.
To be tough, we might not even see the King in the playoffs.
I can't see the King fizzling out in the first round.
I can't either.
I can't see him fizzling out in the second round. I think Cleveland has enough potential.
Cleveland is the number 1 seed in my eyes out of the Eastern Conference until proven otherwise.
Yeah. No, you can't look at the standings.
No.
You can't look at the standings
it's regular
at all.
season. Playoff LeBron is nuts.
Oh, yeah. Playoff LeBron is... look at the 2016 finals against Golden State.
Yeah,
he was down 3-1, and then that's when the jokes started happening about the 3-1, the 73-9 Golden State Warriors. Yeah, how did that work out? No, but it's hard to say. Oh, yeah, just dethrone him. Just dethrone him. Kind of hard to say that. So
it's LeBron James. We thought going into Cleveland last time we beat them once. And they're still not a very good team, not playing well. We'll just go in there and beat them. LeBron tore us a new one. He had 17 assists or something like that, and not a single turnover because the Raptors defense wasn't doing anything to stop him.
And that's in their head. And I think he's played my games against us because we have never looked good against. Maybe once.
In Cleveland, we never have.
No. And Skip Bayless was going off on Twitter. Skip Bayless was saying this.
Sounds
Skip Bayless was saying
right.
that. Yeah. It's a statement game, and we have to perform, and we have to shine under the lights and under the media scrutiny of the Raptors.
Raptors win tonight.
Because nobody takes us seriously because we can't get past the hump.
Raptors win tonight, they get a lot more respect.
Yeah. And we can't look that far against Boston. We have to take care of business tonight. I will be watching that game. It's 7:30 start.
I think it's 7 o'clock actually in Cleveland there tonight.
In Quickie Loans Arena, we have not performed well at all, like I've just mentioned. But it's a statement game. The Raptors have to perform. Yes, it is a 7 o'clock game.
And then tomorrow at home, it's an 8 o'clock tip-off.
A little later.
That's not usual for an Air Canada Center start, but okay.
It's not.
Good for the Raptors, though, because then they get an extra little bit of rest, I guess, before the game.
Take care of business. After the 2 games, we face who? Orlando.
We know we face Indiana next. Right after that, on a Friday night. They're what? They're 5th place in the East. They've won 5 straight. Philly has won 10 in a row. I did not even realize that. And they're now 4th.
Yeah.
And right behind Cleveland. So if Philly passes Cleveland, we play Cleveland in the second round if that comes to it. So
if it comes to it.
Well, yeah. And Indiana's won 5 straight. The Wizards are close to facing the Raptors, and I really don't want to see that. There's only a 1-game difference from the Wizards to 8th.
And we all know us and the Wizards, and
the past and everything.
Even the Wizards last year against Boston, that was probably one of the best basketball series I've ever witnessed.
My question to you:
Yes,
at season's end, do the Raptors come first place in the Eastern Conference with 6 games remaining?
With 6 games remaining, with facing 2 potential extremely tough games:
Cleveland and Cleveland, Boston at home, home for Indiana, home for Orlando, at Detroit. And then at Miami to close the season.
At Miami. I don't know. I don't know. I'm an unbiased fan here. I'm a Raptor fan, but I am unbiased.
And let me go to Boston's schedule.
Just the way we're playing against these top tier teams, I don't know if we can do it. I don't know if we can shine under the lights.
Boston has won 6 straight games.
Right.
They play Milwaukee, and then they play us.
Yep.
Then they have Chicago, Atlanta, Wizards, and Brooklyn to end the season. They can win, except for the Raptor game.
They can.
They can win all of those games.
See, the thing about the Raptors is that when we face these top tier teams, it's
For sometimes we rise to the occasion, like you saw against Houston. The Raptors crushed Houston, or I didn't crush them, but they beat Houston.
Yeah.
And then they beat Boston at home. They beat Cleveland at home. They beat Houston on the road. And we're all like, yes. And they put Golden State to the brink both games.
Right.
You know, this team is right there. But can you do it in the playoffs?
And I think everybody is putting that spotlight underneath. It's not so much Cleveland. It's not so much Boston.
No.
It's us.
Cleveland is
They're
already
proving.
They're a team that some team has to
Dethrone them.
There you go.
Yeah.
And then Boston is a young team, getting better and better. Yeah. So
and then everyone's scrutiny on the Raptors because they all know, well, we haven't done anything in the playoffs. We haven't done anything in our pretty much franchise history.
Yep.
So that's that. Take care of business, like I've said many times.
There's really not much more, a lot to talk about when it comes to
really.
the Raptors. They only played 2 games. Obviously, beat Denver at home, 114-110 at the Air Canada Center on, I think it was last Tuesday.
But not too much. We just have to wait and see. Next podcast is going to be fun.
There's going to be a lot because obviously Jace talk about the Leafs season will be done, so we'll be able to talk playoffs, and the Raptors will be right. There'll be 2 or 3 games left. So
I think we'll know if we come first or not, and pretty much.
You'll get a good gist of it, and I think it all starts with these 2 games tonight and tomorrow. So now with the basketball done, we've gone through the field, we went through the ice, we went across the court.
To the questions.
There we go.
Stephen W. With the recent games for the Raptors, do you think they will be going to the Eastern Finals or even the NBA Finals, in your opinion? And what do the Raptors need to do to go deep in the playoffs?
I think it's where they seed, who they face. Look, if they come first place, and Cleveland finds a way to drop the 4th, then you play them in the second round. It's going to be tough.
And I think it's mainly just defense, like you said, offensive rebounds, defensive rebounds. And it's not really who we...
And taking care of the basketball, turning over the darn thing.
It's not really I think it's mainly who we play. Seeding's one thing, but it's not really who we face. Oh no, sorry, who we see though. What am I talking about? So it's mainly who we face. Defense and the bench has to step up. You know what you're getting with Kyle and DeMar. But I think going back to your question, Steven, if Eastern Conference Finals, yes.
I think they can do it. I think they can do it. They just got to play.
Eastern Conference Finals, yes. NBA, if everything we say about the Raptors, they do.
If we can see them from the Raptors, what we saw most of this year, then yes.
100%. Finals, we're not sure, but if everything happens, you never know. I'm just once LeBron's out of the picture, we can get a good estimate.
LeBron is out of the picture,
then we can get a good justice.
Yeah, well, then you'll really get a chance to know. So what's the second part of the question?
Well, no.
Or is it just the one question?
No,
Stephen W.
Yes, I just answered his question. Eastern Conference Finals, yes, I do believe. It all depends who we face, but I think we can. And then the NBA Finals, time will tell. Time will tell, but I think we could if all things we've said the Raptors do, bench, defense, offensive boards, whatever. So yes and yes. Okay.
Isabel? I was reading those comments earlier.
Yes, Isabel.
All right.
Okay. If Dermott is out, knock on wood, this is till the end of the season, who's most likely to replace him? I talked about this a little bit. He's not going to be out for... the rest of the season's 2 games.
Right, but he's walking.
He got hit on the
It's a day-to-day.
heel, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's not a very fun thing to go through. Clearly, he was in some pain, and we were all scared.
And they're saying, put in Justin Hall. The
guy's played 2 games in the NHL.
Actually, 3 games. He scored in 2 of them.
Okay, well, the 3 games, 2
games. First of all,
yeah,
he's a right-handed defenseman. Travis Dermott's a lefty. We need a lefty. Again,
and the next left defenseman.
No.
Oh, we're not going to get there yet.
No. Well, that's not true. First of all, because I know what you're going to say.
Well, the guy that we've seen before get called up, and we don't want to see get called up.
Well, I was going to say about the whole Borgman thing. You would put in Borgman or Callie Rosen,
right, over Martin Marincin.
Well, you wouldn't.
That's a guy that. Yeah. I mean, that's a guy that we've seen get called up in the past.
Yes, not this season.
Not this year, no.
Like I just said, we have Callie Rosen and Andreas Borgman, 2 left defensemen who played in the NHL this year. Martin Marincin has not looked good with the Marlies. I don't think again, he has a good plus-minus, but it's on the Marlies. He has not been called up to the Leafs at all this season.
No.
It's going to be Borgman or Rosen. I would want Borgman more than Rosen. It is. They're not going to bring up Marinson again. But, so just going off to your question, Izzy, Dermott, he's walking.
He'll be okay.
He's walking.
He'll be okay.
Nothing broke. The MRIs look good.
Look, the Leafs don't play for over a week now.
Yeah.
Until the playoff starts, over a week.
You can see him maybe face. I don't think he's going to face New Jersey, but maybe even Montreal on Saturday.
Well, why would you need to? Right?
Nothing's broken. No hairline fractures.
Well, unless he's like 100% healthy, fine. But otherwise, if there's still a little bit of pain, leave him alone. Don't bother with it. There's no point.
Eric, do you think that
Teoscar Hernandez
will be an upgrade over Gricic or Granderson right now?
Yes, but the only reason why those guys are up on the team and Teoscar Hernandez isn't is because he has options.
Okay.
He has options to be sent down, and you saw that last year with Dominic Leone.
Like you said.
With Dominic Leone. I mean, he's not on the team anymore, but he had options. That's why he was getting called up and sent down left and right, because he had the options. And now that Teoscar Hernandez, the outfield's pretty crowded, he's one of the only guys with options. So that's the only reason you sent him down. Would he be a better fit than Granderson and Gricic? Maybe. I mean, it's hard to say right now, but because we haven't really seen a whole lot of these guys yet. It's only been 5 games, but from what we saw last year, yes. But it's tough to say.
It's tough to say, but you would say right now he's an upgrade.
Yes, but they won't do it because of the options.
Okay. And again, Stephen W. going back to the Raptors. Yes, Stevie, you're very active. We love you, buddy. Okay. We got to make sure we try to get the game a little faster to try and play the way we want. We got to keep our tempo faster, try to go up to the floor faster, and try to score before they get set.
So this
was Dwayne Casey every time DeMar brings up the ball. Okay, the whole team slows down. Only Kyle Lowry, the second unit, the fast tempo, plus DeMar needs to work on his defense and his one-on-one defense as well.
He gets blown by quite a bit. I agree.
Against the Clippers was terrible. Well, everybody didn't look good against the Clippers, but we know what you mean. So, what do you think about that statement by Coach Casey?
You know what? I'm glad that Coach Casey's saying that kind of stuff.
I do too.
I'm glad.
I don't know why he's necessarily. I don't think he's calling out DeMar.
No, but he's saying what he wants to see out there from him, and he's not seeing it.
And he's still human too. And that's what he's trying to.
Of course, and I'm glad Coach Casey's coming out and saying that.
I think so too. So his one-on-one defense is.
Yeah, he gets blown by quite a bit. He's
usually matched up with the.
Right,
premier,
but so is he. He's supposed to be a premier player, right?
Is he a premier defensive guy? He's never been looked at like that.
No, but to be a premier player
in the league,
you got to be a premier defender as well.
100%.
So that's where are there any more questions? Is that all? Is that wrapping it up?
I think that's all, guys. Anytime before Tuesday, send your questions.
It'd be preferably Monday, because then it's the most recent questions.
But I mean, we'll probably tweet it out before Monday, just saying podcast
Sunday
questions,
Monday
whatever.
But
the Square. Playoff Raptor.
Well, that's something we want to mention real quick here before we wrap this baby up. Maple Leaf Square, Jurassic Park for the playoffs. Again, DM down below. There's a Twitter. Is the link to the Twitter, guys. Please check that out. DM me, and we will.
Because we'll love to meet you guys. We'll love to meet the guys that listens to the podcast.
Yeah,
watch the videos,
be awesome.
Comments.
It'd be awesome.
No, it'd be awesome. Again, we have a drink with you guys. If you guys don't drink alcohol,
have a water or a soda.
I love it. But
hey,
guys,
and this time next week, the Leafs will be in the playoffs. Probably, starting up very shortly.
Exactly.
It's weird. It's nuts.
And
can't wait.
And we try to respond if it's not me. It's gonna be James trying to respond to all your guys' DMs. So DM us, add us, whatever you guys want. We'll love to meet you guys, and hopefully we can set up something.
Yeah, well, we'll keep talking, and we'll try and figure something out. Again, I'll let you guys know in the videos what the plans will be for that in the round 1 previews for each team. But I'm excited. I'm very excited, and I know you guys are too. So Evan and I will be talking to you guys next Tuesday.
And you had something to mention.
Oh, actually, no, I got a news for you. The next 2 Tuesdays, I will not be able to do the podcast. It'll be, I think it's Wednesday for both weeks.
I love how you just tell me on air right now.
Well, you know what?
Guys, he didn't even tell me this before it started. So
surprise.
This is news to me.
But, I just wanted to let you know that because I work, it might be a Monday. We might do it on the Monday, this upcoming Monday, because I'm off on the Monday instead of the Tuesday. But then the following week, it might be the Wednesday.
We'll keep you guys updated on Twitter.
I'll let you guys know as well. about all that kind of stuff, all right? So you know what, guys? Evan and I will talk to you guys next Monday. That's when the podcast will be next week.
So send your questions before Monday, and you'll be talking tonight.
I'll be talking to you guys tonight, Jays and Raptors. We're looking for some positive things and some fun things to talk about, all right? So we'll talk to you guys then. Tons of things to talk about. Hey, let's go Blue Jays, Leafs, and Raptors.
Let's go. Let's get her done, bud. Peace!
Woo!